Elder Zhu observed the alternating yellow and red glows emanating from Xiao, his lips twitching slightly. This kid, he's probably the most outstanding talent our incense pavilion has seen in nearly 1,000 years. Phew. The red glow on Xiao's body flickered for only an instant, disappearing as quickly as it appeared. In its place, the bright yellow light resumed shining brilliantly. Heh, not bad. Not bad at all, Elder Zhu said approvingly. He knows how to control his power with precision. Cough, cough, cough. Xiao suddenly broke into a fit of violent coughing, looking rather disheveled. The strain from swallowing the sacred flame back in the desert mountain range had indeed caused his flame mantra to evolve into the immortal class and greatly boosted his strength. However, at that time, Xiao hadn't sensed any resonance between the sacred flame's power and his divine motion natal core inscription. Now, hearing Elder Zhu's words, he hurriedly channeled the sacred flame's power within him, directing it toward the natal core inscription. What followed was an extraordinary sight. As Xiao gathered the sacred flame's energy toward the inscription, the two forces seemed to produce a terrifying resonance. The inscription began to greedily absorb the sacred flame's power at an alarming rate. With the natal core inscription hungrily devouring the sacred flame's energy, yellow beams and flickering red light began to appear around Xiao once again. That's enough. Elder Zhu's authoritative voice echoed through the wooden hut. Immediately, Xiao felt a tremor in his fragile sea of spirit, momentarily dazing him. Elder Zhu, what just happened? Xiao slowly retracted the sacred flame's power and the natal core inscription, gazing at the elder with curiosity. As I suspected, the sacred flame can significantly enhance your mental power, Elder Zhu said, nodding with satisfaction. With just the power of the sacred flame, you've reached the level of a 6-pattern battle array grandmaster. It's like taking one giant leap forward. The sacred flame can amplify mental power? Xiao was hearing this for the first time. Sacred flames were known as the most fearsome forces of fire between heaven and earth, but to enhance mental power, this was something he had never even imagined. Not even I had heard of such a thing, Elder Zhu admitted. But based on my years of experience, it seems I was right. As for the deeper mysteries behind it, that's something you, the one who possesses the sacred flame, will have to uncover on your own, Elder Zhu chuckled. By the way, I noticed something unusual within you just now. Your Do-Chi C, Soul C, and C of Spirit. All 3 C's are united. You must maintain the balance between them, or else a single misstep could severely affect your potential, Elder Zhu advised. Xiao nodded thoughtfully. He was well aware of the existence of these 3 C's. Although they made him immensely powerful, they also came with countless hidden dangers. If his Do-Chi C were ever to suffer a serious, irreparable injury, both his Soul C and C of Spirit would be affected as well. Elder Zhu, what exactly is a battle array grandmaster? Xiao asked, still somewhat confused by the elder's earlier words. Haha, that's the rank system of the battle array masters, Elder Zhu explained. The ranks are divided as follows. Battle Array Master is represented by white, Grandmaster by yellow, Imperial Master by red, Immortal Master by black, and Sacred Master by gold. Each stripe corresponds to a relative level of power, he continued. For instance, a 1-stripe Battle Array Master is equivalent to a 1-star Do Sheng. A 1-stripe Battle Array Grandmaster is equal to a 1-star Do D, and so on. The color we're talking about refers to the color of the inscription produced by your natal core inscription. So that's how it works, Xiao muttered, digesting this new information. Just now, with the sacred flame's aid, he had forcibly elevated 1/4 of his divine motion natal core inscription to the level of a 6-stripe yellow inscription. This meant that Xiao had now become a battle array grandmaster. A grandmaster strong enough to rival a 6-star Do D. Battle Array Grandmasters are further divided into minor and great completion stages. Judging by the aura of your natal core inscription just now, you've reached the 6-stripe Battle Array Grandmaster's minor completion stage. Once you step into great completion, you may even be able to challenge an 8-star Do D, Elder Zhu continued, a hint of pride in his voice. But as things stand now, with your current strength at the minor completion stage, Any expert below the level of a perfect 6-star Do D is no threat to you. That's the true terror of a battle array master, Elder Zhu added with a smile, as if explaining for fear Xiao Yin might not fully understand. Even though I've reached the level of a battle array grandmaster, my mental power, Xiao Yin shook his head, acknowledging his own limitations. While he had achieved the minor completion stage of a 6-stripe battle array grandmaster, he still had no understanding of how to use battle arrays or cultivate his mental power. Don't worry, Elder Zhu reassured him with a gentle smile. I'll explain it all in time. The strength of a battle array master lies in their mental power, Elder Zhu began. Everyone knows that soul power can be cultivated using various rare treasures, or even by absorbing the soul essence left behind by powerful beings. So, compared to mental power, cultivating soul power is relatively easy. But mental power is different. To increase your mental power, there's no known shortcut. The only way is through constant tempering and refinement, Elder Zhu said, his tone growing serious. The difficulty of this process, it far exceeds what you can imagine. His voice carried a rare chill, indicating that even Elder Zhu found the process daunting to recall. Elder Zhu, what's the connection between soul power and mental power? Xiao Yin asked. Good question. Soul power is internal, poised to strike at the enemy's soul, causing disorientation or even instant death. It's a one-hit kill technique. Mental power, on the other hand, is external. In many ways, it's similar to your Do Qi. You could even consider it your second Do Qi. Elder Zhu explained passionately. Imagine this. If your mental power can form arrays to trap your enemies and then unleash devastating attacks, not even the strongest opponents could withstand it. Once you reach the Doxian level and combine it with the boost from your domain, you'll be unmatched among your peers. While soul power is formless, mental power has form and color. Elder Zhu's words brimmed with excitement. Soul power is internal, mental power is external, a second Do Qi, Xiao Yin repeated, clearly trying to absorb the information. Exactly. And since mental power cultivation is so rare, there aren't even formal rankings for it. On the entire Xinling continent, there are probably only a handful of people who possess it, but the strength of your mental power determines your rank as a battle array master. The more you increase your mental power, the higher your rank will climb as a battle array master. Eventually, your mental power will manifest as an entire world, and with a wave of your hand, thousands of strong enemies will be reduced to ashes, Elder Zhu declared confidently. The power of a battle array master is truly terrifying. Xiao Yan's heart burned with excitement at Elder Zhu's words. As for how to cultivate mental power, catch! Elder Zhu shouted as he flung a round object directly toward Xiao Yin. What is this? Xiao Yin mumbled as he sensed a formidable wave of energy emanating from the object. What exactly is this thing? He murmured again while catching it. As the object landed in his hand, Xiao Yin couldn't help but feel its strangeness. It was small, but there was something eerie about it. The moment he touched it, a sharp, piercing pain shot through his hand, startling him. This was quite unusual, especially since Xiao Yin was currently at the late stage of a 6-star Do D. Combined with the powers of both his heavenly flames and sacred flame, it was rare for anything to cause him such discomfort. Clearly, this was no ordinary item. Looking closer, Xiao Yin saw that the object was a palm-sized round disc, covered in mysterious runes, 12 in total. This is the spirit millstone, Elder Zhu's calm voice explained. The spirit millstone? Xiao Yin repeated, already starting to guess its function. After all, the moment he grasped it, his divine motion natal core inscription radiated a faint sense of joy. Indeed, it's the spirit millstone, Elder Zhu confirmed. Before you, the only way to cultivate spiritual power was through the slow, grinding process using the spirit millstone to sharpen one's spiritual strength. This method strengthens a battle array master's abilities. The other, rarer method is to directly absorb the spirit millstone. But very few choose this path. After all, spirit millstones are exceedingly rare, only found in ancient ruins. Most people would never dare to consume them directly, Elder Zhu added. But you've got some strange fortune. as even the sacred flame power within you seems to aid in advancing your spiritual strength. Heh, keep this spirit millstone safe, Elder Zhu advised with a smile. As for tempering your spiritual power, all you need to do is channel a thread of energy from your natal core inscription into the millstone. But remember, unless it's absolutely necessary, never consume it. This item is one of the few remaining on the Xinling continent. Once it's gone for good. Yes, master. Xiao respectfully stored the spirit millstone and bowed deeply to Elder Zhu. He was well aware of its immense value. Your strength is quite terrifying, you know, Elder Zhu remarked, glancing at Xiao with narrowed eyes. Late stage 6-star Do D, Xiao replied without hesitation, choosing not to hide his strength. Late stage 6-star Do D, Elder Zhu mused. This time, you must ensure that we take first place in the team competition. Don't worry, I've got this, Xiao responded confidently. All right, off you go. Don't interrupt my nap any longer. Elder Zhu waved him off. Understood, master. Xiao smiled and quietly exited the wooden cabin, closing the door behind him with care. By the way, it seems someone in the Earth Hall is looking for a pill, a second-rank Imperial Class 1. You might want to check it out, Elder Zhu's voice called out, just as Xiao began to walk away. A second-rank Imperial Class pill? Huh, Xiao chuckled. It's been a while since I've refined a pill. There are still 5 days until the team competition, and Yingying will likely face her tribulation tomorrow, so I'll check it out the day after. With that, he vanished. I don't know why, but I have a feeling this kid might surpass even that person from before, Elder Zhu muttered, his eyes fixed on the spot where Xiao had disappeared, and the heaven-shifting ruler may soon shine again. Inside the Earth Hall, in the 5th Senior Brother's quarters. Is 5th Senior Brother awake yet? A crisp, bell-like voice rang out from outside the door. Second miss, you can't go in. 5th Senior Brother is still recovering, and no one except the Hall Master is allowed to see him. The 2 guards outside said nervously, eyeing the little witch before them. Do you not know who I am? Ling Xian huffed, a hint of displeasure in her breath. Let her in. A voice came from within the room. It was Wang Qin's. The guards immediately fell silent and stepped aside. 5th Senior Brother, are you all right? Ling Xian asked anxiously as she rushed into the room. Don't worry, I'm fine, Wang Chun replied calmly, used to the little witch's frequent visits. 5th Senior Brother, weren't you in a duel with Little E? How did you suddenly? Ling Xian hesitated, seeing that Wang Qin's injuries had healed significantly. I don't know, Wang Qin replied, frowning. That Xiao, he's not as simple as he seems on the surface. Even during his final strike against me, I could feel that he wasn't using his full strength, Wang Chun continued. I suspect his true power is at least on par with ours, if not stronger. That's impossible, Ling Xian exclaimed, her face full of disbelief. There's nothing impossible about it. He's very strong, Wang Chun said flatly. I'm going to find my father, Ling Xian declared, rushing out of the room. Heh, it's been a while since I've seen that little witch so riled up, Wang Chen chuckled. Mengte, how are the other senior brothers? Wang Chen asked as his subordinate entered the room. 5th Senior Brother, recently, 4th Senior Brother has been in seclusion. 3rd Senior Brother has been struggling with refining a second-rank Imperial Class pill and has been having no luck. He's been quite frustrated. 2nd Senior Brother, as usual, is off somewhere, and the 1st Senior Brother, well, you know how he is, Mengte replied. All right, carry on. The team competition is just around the corner, Wang Chun said softly. By the way, 5th Senior Brother, it seems that all the members of the Heaven Hall have withdrawn from this competition. Mengte hesitated before speaking. Oh, could it be that they've been sent on another mission? If all 7 of them have been dispatched, it must be something big, Wang Chen murmured thoughtfully. Meanwhile, in the Earth Hall, within another private chamber, Ling Xian was having none of it. Father, you must give me an explanation this time, she demanded, glaring at the middle-aged man in front of her. Oh dear, my little princess, who's been troubling you this time? The man chuckled, lifting a delicate jade cup and glancing at her affectionately. I don't care. You have to do something about this. Ling Xian fumed. "What's this about?" he asked with a smile. "Someone from the human hall trespassed into the domain of scorched heavens. We tried to bring him to the Earth Hall for an explanation, but not only did he drive Yingying back, he even injured fifth senior brother." Ling Xian was seething. "Father, you have to teach him a lesson." "Ah, so you got bullied," the middle-aged man chuckled inwardly. "I thought there weren't any six-star Do-D experts in the human hall right now. How did Wang Chun end up injured?" he mused, tapping his finger thoughtfully. "I don't know what trick that guy used, but in the duel, fifth senior brother fainted after just one strike," Ling Xian explained, frustration bubbling in her voice. "One strike?" Ling Xian's voice had barely faded when a hint of hesitation crept into the middle-aged man's tone. "What is the name of the disciple from the Earth Hall?" the man asked. "Xiao Yin," Ling Xian replied coldly, her voice tinged with resentment. As soon as she uttered the name, the jade cup in the middle-aged man's hand shattered instantly. "Leave this matter alone and listen to me carefully. That Xiao Yin is under the protection of the Heaven Hall's human hall," the man said slowly. "How is that possible?" Ling Xian was momentarily stunned, as she had rarely seen her father react so strongly. "Say no more. The fact alone that this boy is a second-rank imperial-class alchemist is enough," the man explained. "Xiao Yin, a second-rank imperial-class alchemist?" Ling Xian's mind went blank at the revelation. "Now, go prepare for the team competition like a good girl. Your father still has matters to attend to," the middle-aged man said, seemingly making up his mind. Meanwhile, far away from the incense pavilion, some hidden secrets were unfolding. "Third Hall Master, there's been unusual activity in the Ghost Realm recently. Just from our Purgatory Hall brothers, we've discovered 3 places where the seals at the Ghost Realm's exits have weakened." A figure clad entirely in black reported as he stood before a man whose aura was overwhelmingly powerful. The black-clad figure, with his aura subdued like a stealthy shadow, contrasted sharply with the imposing figure of the Third Hall Master. Although both wore dark clothing, the air of death and lethality around the Hall Master was unmistakable. One look, and it was clear he had long danced on the edge of life and death. "What?" the man exclaimed in fury. Purgatory Hall had long been at odds with the Ghost Realm due to the sect's special nature. The weakening of the seals at 3 exits, allowing ghosts to slip into the mystic 3 heavens, was a grave error on their part. If any powerful ghost creature were to escape, it could spell disaster. "Have you detected any particularly strong ghosts?" the man asked, his tone sharp. "Not for now. The ones that have made it into the mystic 3 heavens so far are mostly low-level minions," the black-clad figure answered respectfully. "I see," the Third Hall Master muttered. "The Ghost Realm has been quiet for so many years. Are they finally about to make their move?" His gaze turned toward the distant horizon. "Have you sent anyone to reinforce the seals at the 3 exits? If they loosen any further, it could be a disaster for the mystic 3 heavens," the Hall Master said gravely, his tone thick with killing intent. 2 of the exits are already being guarded by most of our Purgatory Hall brothers. As long as no 8-star or higher ghosts appear, there shouldn't be any major issues, the black-clad figure assured him. "And the 3rd exit?" the Hall Master questioned. "It's closest to the Incense Pavilion, and Elder Qing has been notified. He's dispatched the Heaven Hall 7-man squad to handle it." "There shouldn't be any problems," the figure replied. "The 7 from Heaven Hall, last time they appeared, they were capable of facing an 8-star Do-D. Their strength now is likely even more terrifying," the Third Hall Master mused to himself. "All right, keep a close watch on the Ghost Realm's exits. The moment there's any sign of trouble, report it immediately," the Hall Master instructed. "Yes," the black-clad figure responded, vanishing into a puff of black smoke. Due to the unique nature of the Purgatory Hall, its members were forced to live in darkness. Only in such a way could they silently approach and kill ghost creatures. Many of these ghosts, believing themselves invincible, were constantly hunted by the Purgatory Hall members. Who would have thought the Ghost Realm would attempt to come back so soon? Have they not learned from their last bloody defeat? The Third Hall Master muttered. Something big is brewing. I can feel it. With the Second Hall Master absent, and the sect master undercover in the ghost realm. His fate uncertain. We're short on people. We may need to borrow some strength from other sects to quell this disaster. The hall master decided, vanishing into the darkness of the mountain ridge. Russell, Russell. It's an honor to have the third hall master visit this place. A voice echoed the moment he reappeared at the heavily guarded stronghold of the Purgatory Hall. Here, countless dark chains shimmered coldly as they tightly bound a mass of black energy. The voice originated from within this black mist. Ghost Emperor, what is your ghost realm plotting this time? The hall master asked as he slowly approached the black mist, his steps measured. Heh, who would have thought the great third hall master of Purgatory Hall would have doubts one day? The voice sneered from within the mist, its tone filled with malice. But what we in the ghost realm are planning is beyond your imagination. When our army arrives, it will be the day your entire mystic three heavens is wiped out. The black mist snarled as sinister ghostly energy surged around it. However, the moment the ghost energy appeared, the chains binding it absorbed it instantly. No matter how many ghosts come, Purgatory Hall will not let a single one escape. The third hall master said coldly before disappearing. Russell, Russell. To think the ghost immortals have moved up the timeline. At this rate, the mystic three heavens will fall to our ghost realm within 10 years. The black mist chuckled ominously. And you filthy humans will all meet a grisly end. In a secret chamber within Yingying City, on the outskirts of the Yingying royal family, a seductive woman's voice sounded. How are things progressing? Bloodrose asked. My lady, 3 of the 9 seals at the mystic three heavens exits have been opened. In a few more years, the rest will follow, the man reported. By then, our ghost realm's army? The seductive woman was none other than Bloodrose from before. And what do the ghost immortals say? Bloodrose asked, casting a glance at the man. They are very pleased with your actions. However, they want to accelerate the plan, the man replied softly. Go back and tell them that after waiting for thousands of years, a few more won't hurt. If they rush things and fail, they know the consequences, Bloodrose said coldly. And remind them to be prepared. Once the mystic three heavens sect competition begins, that will be our perfect opportunity to strike. Bloodrose added with a seductive smile. The man bowed his head, for he knew that smile masked the true terror that was Bloodrose. Go, Bloodrose ordered icily. Yes. The man produced a scroll filled with eerie black energy, crushed it in his hand, and vanished. Heh, mystic three heavens, soon. All of you will be mine, Bloodrose whispered, her smile growing darker. Miss, someone seeks an audience, a voice called from outside, just after the Ghost Realm envoy had left. I've already retired for the night. I'm not seeing anyone. Bloodrose coldly refused. It was evening, and she had many things to prepare and arrange. There was no time to entertain visitors. The person outside is a prince of the Yingying royal family, the maid outside the room said fearfully. A mere maid like her couldn't afford to offend a prince of the royal family. A prince from the Yingying royal family? Bloodrose paused, speaking to herself as she prepared to leave. The Yingying royal family suffered heavy losses during their trip to the desolate Death Desert. What business could they have with me at this time? A sly smile appeared on her lips. After a brief moment of thought, Bloodrose adjusted her attire, accentuating her seductive curves, and then made her way out. Miss Bloodrose, it's been a long time. The moment she stepped out, a handsome young man standing in a nearby pavilion greeted her with a smile. Xianmu? Bloodrose was somewhat surprised to see the third prince, Xianmu, in her residence. While the Yingying king had many children, only a few stood out. Crown Prince Xiansu, second Prince Xianwu, third Prince Xianmu, and fourth Prince Xianshan. Though Crown Prince Xiansu was extremely low profile and seemed to have no secrets, Bloodrose, relying on her womanly intuition, felt that he was not as simple as he appeared. As for second Prince Xianwu, he was a martial arts fanatic who spent his days engrossed in training, indifferent to the power struggles within the royal family. Fourth Prince Xianshan, free-spirited and fond of adventure, had been taken as a disciple by Zhuolao, the deputy leader of the Wolf Eagle Legion, one of the 3 major legions of the Yingying royal family. He seldom involved himself in court matters. As for the third prince, Xianmu, he was known to be extremely shrewd and had established extensive connections within the royal court. However, the Xinling king had yet to name a crown prince, leaving Xianmu biding his time. Miss Bloodrose, you are indeed as beautiful as the rumors suggest, Xianmu said with a leisurely smile as he stepped toward her. Beside Xianmu stood a muscular man whose eyes were cold and vigilant, clearly there to protect the prince. To have a 7-star Dou-Di guarding him? The forces behind Xianmu are far greater than they appear, Bloodrose thought to herself. What brings the third prince to my humble abode? Bloodrose asked as she moved gracefully, her body swaying seductively. Though she sensed that Xianmu had come with ill intentions, she wasn't one to be intimidated. Something's off about this woman, the muscular man said suddenly, his eyes narrowing as Bloodrose drew closer. He had sensed something very strange about her aura. Stand down, Xianmu commanded, his voice carrying a weight of authority that left no room for questioning. Hee, what business does the third prince have today? Bloodrose asked lightly, unfazed by the muscular man's hostility. I came for 2 reasons, Xianmu said in a serious tone. First, to witness Miss Bloodrose's famed beauty with my own eyes. And second, to resolve a long-standing mystery that has troubled me. I'm not interested in any secrets. But I do have a question, Bloodrose responded casually, her words laced with a clear warning. Is the third prince aware that entering someone's residence uninvited is? Mind your words, the muscular man shouted, preparing to move and seize her. Miss Bloodrose is right, but I believe that if I show enough sincerity, she won't refuse me, Xianmu interrupted, stopping the man from acting. He looked at Bloodrose with a smile. Even Xianmu, with all his cunning, sensed the dangerous aura emanating from Bloodrose. It was clear she had not risen to her prominent position within the Xinling royal family and the auction houses of Xinling City purely because of her beauty. What if I say no? Bloodrose's tone shifted, a hint of anger creeping in as she eyed the muscular man, who continued to watch her with hostility. Don't be disrespectful, the man growled, causing the maids nearby to tremble with fear. Why don't we see the sincerity you mentioned first? Xianmu smiled. You may all leave, Bloodrose said with a glance at her maids. After a brief moment of thought, she decided to dismiss them. Now, what is it you want to discuss? Bloodrose asked. She knew Xianmu and his bodyguard were formidable, but if it weren't for her plans concerning the ghost realm, she would have killed them both already. Since there are no outsiders here, I'll get straight to the point, Xianmu said, his tone growing more serious. The Xinling royal family is currently facing both internal and external threats. My father has been missing for nearly 5 years, and my uncle Qin Tian and the national advisor Wan Zi have been handling most of the court's affairs. However, a nation cannot go a day without a ruler, Xianmu continued, and with a subtle movement of his finger, a high-quality jade box appeared from his storage ring. Hee, I'm just a woman running an auction house to make a living. I don't meddle in court matters, Bloodrose said, her interest in Xianmu's jade box non-existent. If that's what this is about, please leave. Don't be so quick to refuse, Miss Bloodrose. I believe once you see what I have, you'll change your mind, Xianmu said with a confident smile. I'm not interested, Bloodrose said flatly, turning away without a second glance. She knew that Xianmu and the other princes were eager to seize power, especially with the kingdom being kept in check by Qin Tian and Wan Zi. If any prince were to ascend the throne, their status would skyrocket. Prince, this woman is far too arrogant. Should I? The muscular man muttered quietly to Xianmu. Don't interfere. Just watch, Xianmu replied, before slowly opening the jade box in his hand. With a soft click, the jade box opened, releasing a faint, refreshing fragrance into the air. This is Xinling Imperial Pool Elixir? Bloodrose, who had already walked away, suddenly stopped in her tracks, turning back in shock to stare at the contents of the jade box. Inside, a few small droplets of golden liquid slowly swirled. Despite the tiny amount, Bloodrose's keen senses could immediately feel the immense, pure energy emanating from the golden drops. It seems Miss Bloodrose recognizes this, Xianmu said with a smile. He wouldn't have brought out such a rare item if Blood Rose wasn't someone of great importance within the Yingying royal family and Yingying city's auction circles. This elixir was incredibly precious, capable of cultivating many talents for any faction. I never expected you to offer something as valuable as the Yingying Imperial Pool Elixir. Such purity. With this, there's at least a 70% chance of successfully passing the 6-star Do-Di Tribulation, Blood Rose said softly. As a top auctioneer, her eye for treasures was undeniably sharp. Well? Shinmu asked, his voice probing. If Miss Blood Rose finds it acceptable, this elixir is yours. As soon as he finished speaking, the jade box in his hand snapped shut. I'll help you at the crucial moment. After all, our auction house holds a unique position, so? Blood Rose paused briefly, her eyes filled with a burning desire as they lingered on the jade box in Shinmu's hands. Deal. Shinmu was overjoyed. He hadn't expected the auction house to offer full support, but getting Blood Rose's aid at a critical juncture was more than enough. Hee, then let's look forward to a pleasant collaboration. Shinmu turned to leave, taking his muscular bodyguard with him. He left the jade box behind on the stone table in the pavilion. As Shinmu and his bodyguard disappeared into the distance, Blood Rose walked over, picked up the jade box, and murmured, "If it weren't for waiting on the bigger plan, do you really think this mere Yingying Imperial Pool Elixir could tempt me?" As she spoke, a dark red rune flickered on the back of her hand. The rune looked sinister and eerie, as though it was suppressing her power, adding to her dangerous allure. Someone, go investigate the current situation of Shinmu and the Yingying royal family, Blood Rose ordered, and the space around her seemed to ripple slightly before returning to calm. Now, let's just wait for the show to begin, she said softly before resuming her own tasks. Time passed quickly, and soon it was nightfall. At 5 Bamboo Residence, the evening wind was always chilling. Are they all asleep now? Xiao murmured to himself, sitting inside his room. Using his soul senses, he could tell that while it was still early in the evening, the others showed no signs of movement, clearly preparing to rest. Almost time. In her own room, Yingying's eyes slowly opened, her gaze sharp and focused. Xiao Lan. This time, we will succeed, she whispered softly to the sacred flame crystal glowing with blue flame energy before her. Once we succeed, we'll rescue my brother and return to our own home, never setting foot in human lands again, Yingying said to the crystal. The blue sacred flame crystal seemed to sense her words, radiating a joyful energy in response. Let's go, it's time. We have 3 days to break through the Do-Di Tribulation. It should be enough to participate in the team competition. Yingying stood up slowly and headed toward the back mountains of the incense pavilion. I wonder if he'll come, she mused as she glanced back at Xiao room, where the lights still shone brightly. With the sacred flame crystal guiding her, Yingying felt a surge of power building up inside her. This was the key to triggering the Do-Di Tribulation, and she needed to find a quiet place. Sigh. Xiao naturally sensed Yingying's movements. He sighed softly and, without hesitation, his figure flickered and disappeared from his room, following the faint trail Yingying had left. The mountain range occupied by the incense pavilion was vast. Even with the heaven, earth, and human halls present, they only occupied a fraction of the entire range, a testament to its massive size. The back mountains of the incense pavilion were often used by disciples for secluded cultivation and tribulation breakthroughs. The area was largely uninhabited, offering a safe and quiet environment for such practices. I didn't expect this place to be so perfect. A shadowy figure emerged in the moonlit darkness, standing on a tree branch. Yingying gazed at the landscape before her. A pond, about 100 miles in circumference, lay nestled in a basin, surrounded by higher ground on all sides. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the moonlight perfectly. It's quiet enough here, she muttered. Her senses spread throughout the area, confirming there were no other presences nearby. Yingying walked slowly to the pond's edge, her delicate hand flicking as she took something from her storage ring and scattered it into the water. As the mysterious powder dissolved into the pond, the water began to warm slightly. He's here, Yingying said softly, raising her gaze to the sky. The space above the basin seemed to ripple, signaling someone's approach. Stubborn as always. Xiao Yin sighed as he emerged from the distorted space, glancing down at Yingying seated by the pond. 3 days. I must break through the Dodi Tribulation in 3 days, Yingying said, her heart finally at ease upon seeing Xiao Yin. For some reason, as long as Xiao Yin was there, she always felt a sense of calm. 3 days? Isn't that cutting it a bit close? Xiao Yin asked, his tone filled with concern. I've never undergone the Dodi Tribulation myself, so to be honest, I'm not sure how to help. Xiao Yin spoke truthfully. When he had consumed the sacred flame, his power had skyrocketed to the late stage of 6-star Dodi, and he hadn't experienced the Dodi Tribulation firsthand. He knew from others like Long E and Heart Rock how dangerous it was, though. One wrong step, and there was nothing left but dust. I don't know the full extent of your situation, but I believe we'll find a way, Yingying reassured him, her eyes clear as water, filled with resolve. 3 days should be enough. It's a gamble, but one worth taking, she said with a firm determination that matched her serene gaze. How confident are you? Xiao Yin asked as he moved closer to her side. About 50%, she replied, biting her lips slightly. Even Yingying, with her usual confidence, knew the risks were high. 50%. Xiao Yan's expression grew serious. If her chances were only 50%, the odds of her surviving the tribulation were frighteningly slim. But with you here, and the mysterious power from the Xinling Imperial Pool, I have 90% confidence, she added, her face lighting up with a confident smile. Hee, let's see how it turns out, then, Xiao Yin responded, a smile creeping onto his face at her confidence. Thank you, Yingying said, her gaze lingering on him for a long moment before she continued. Were you certain you would come? I don't know, Xiao Yin replied. Maybe it was just a hunch. Perhaps it's a woman's intuition, Yingying said softly before sitting down, crossing her legs in meditation. What should I do? Xiao Yin asked, understanding that she was preparing herself for the tribulation and needed to be in peak condition for what was to come. Just guard the area. Make sure no one disturbs us, Yingying's melodic voice echoed through the basin. Consider it done, Xiao Yin nodded, leaping into the air to watch over the area from above. In the next moment, the divine motion natal core inscription within Xiao Yan's body began to spin rapidly, releasing a surge of yellow spiritual energy in continuous waves. The energy gathered in his hand, forming on a scroll, and the intense power it emitted would make even a 5-star Dodi turn and flee. Array formation. Go! Xiao Yin shouted, as the scroll, engraved with thousands of core inscriptions, shot toward the space above the basin. Boom, boom, boom. A terrifying pressure immediately erupted from the array scroll in Xiao Yan's hand, transforming into a brilliant yellow light that enveloped the entire basin where he and Yingying stood. It seems my current limit is a battle array grandmaster with 6,000 inscriptions, Xiao Yin muttered. With this level of strength, I could handle any opponent below a perfect 6-star Dodi, but against a 7-star Dodi, it wouldn't hold up. I'll need to raise my spiritual power to the great completion of the battle array grandmaster level. After speaking, the array scroll dissolved into a protective formation that enclosed the basin. Xiao Yin sure has a lot of secrets, Yingying thought, feeling the immense power of the formation. If it weren't for her sacred flame, she might be trapped within it for a long time. Let's begin. With me here, no one will disturb you, Xiao Yin said as he hovered in the air, his senses constantly scanning the surroundings. A wave of fiery energy slowly emanated from him, reinforcing the barrier. Hee, the girl has really started. In the distance, Elder Zhu's eyes slowly opened in his room. With a drowsy voice, he muttered to himself, I wonder what her relationship with Yingying is. Then, without another word, he closed his eyes and drifted back to sleep.